Great compassionate protector, all-knowing teacher, field of merit and good qualities, vast as an ocean to the Tathagata I bow. Through purity, freeing from attachment, through virtue, freeing from the lower realms. Unique, supreme, ultimate reality, to the Dharma that is peace I bow. Having freed themselves, showing the path of freedom too, well established in the trainings. The holy field endowed with good qualities, to the Sangha I bow. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind completely, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, a bubble. A dream, a flash, a blinding, a cloud, we condition things as such. Through this merit may sentient beings attain the state of all seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from the ocean of cyclic existence, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn Mount Meru, foreland, sun and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered to you, may all beings enjoy this your land. Venerable holy gurus, in the space of your truth body, from billowing clouds of your wisdom and love, let fall the rain of the profound and extensive Dharma, in whatever form is suitable for subduing sentient beings. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kanyayatayami. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings.
Sanye Chöda Tsokru Chonam Na Chancho Pado Dane Kyopsuchi Daye Chungye Gebe Tonam Ki Rola Bencho Sanye Druparai Sanye Chöda Tsokru Chonam Na Chancho Pado Dane Kyopsuchi Daye Chenso Gebe Tonam Ki Rola Bencho Sanye Druparai Sanye Chöda Tsokru Chonam Na Chancho Pado Dane Kyopsuchi Daye Chenso Gebe Tonam Ki Rola Sanye Druparai Sho. 다 데려와다 계속 그냥 안조 가수를 신의 주당 거르듯이 아니 되네 바진 쪽대 롭스치 아니 되네 된데 하나 중에 거르대 롭스치 도시에 참마다 지금 롭스 도시 말았어.
So for the last few days we have touched on the how to attain the calm abiding mental placement. We have also touched on the 6 perfections, and we also touch on the 12 links of dependent origination. So we have sort of went through the surface understanding of all these.
그것이 디지네 아니 되네다 되게 좁스지 되게 좁스지네 다 디지들이야 단다 남주 시순 시티가네 다 생기는 디지엘이야 신의 지산에 아니 신의 지부기다 되게요 말에 대도님도 인지민시 하동 다 시럽 실라 송제 도그레스 제제 다 제리양 저시에디 다 항동들린 거라
No. So we have focused on the calm abiding shamatha attainment, and then following from there comes the wisdom aspect, perfection of wisdom in the penetrative insight. That's the one we have to focus on.
인디가네다 제리양 저 항동 권례야 투섬 consum 지에 인선사 근데 항동 그 토리아다 시럽기 퍼진디 토리아 지부다로 간데 양다 마연세디 단도 콘드셰베기 아니 시내당 대공기다 탑기 차든 저기 심마신이야 라리 레스시도 숨고도
No. So understanding this penetrative is very crucial because this understanding will bring about the perfection of wisdom. But in order to have this perfection of wisdom to the highest quality and to attain that, we need the prior prerequisites, especially the calm abiding and all the other perfections. So we can see how the build-up of the how we get to the perfection of wisdom by understanding the prior requirements.
지산디 인디가네다 학바 통화스도 간에 걸 믹스해지기 다 간들 돈에 간들 따바치 해지 인승고라 다 믹스해지 학바치 셴다 만데베다 벳 믹스해지기 다 간들 따야 약슈디 셔럽 약슈디 다 간데스 냠네 저거랬으나 아니 한동 권에 디냠네 제발라 디용원도 다 같이 그냥 아주 셰샤바든 저 시내 거당 아니 디 공기 탑기 차기 발진 디게디당 안 학벌도야 된식이 남샤 디게디 다직 모두 조거야 다 트티지에 된소 아니 뱀마스 이게 준비를 했음고도
In order to have this exceptional, immaculate wisdom, in order to attain that kind of thing, we need a special eye of wisdom. And this eye of wisdom can be gained only by following the earlier prerequisite. It is must. Without that, there's no way one can have this immaculate wisdom to ascertain. And that's why I'm reinforcing again and again here is the prerequisites are calm abiding, the sixth perfection, and particularly we have to understand in profound depth the Four Noble Truths.
다 된데기 항동 시럽디 땅 알아주 단데 알아주를 여대베기 다 간들 시럽 셰바스 남시스네 셰바스네 민도 알아주를 여베기 남주기 나네다 된데기 땅 항동기 시럽들 냠네 제토베나다 미 남주기 나네다 남주 푸도 중하다 남주기 딱 간들 제다 손에 토슈다 디레송고도
No. This penetrative insight is something that is within us, it's innate within us, but we have to invoke that penetrative insight, and that can be done by using our own mind or consciousness, which has a knowing aspect to it. And that is the having this human existence, utilizing that intelligence to a higher state, that is something that is most invaluable, and it's a high state of intelligence that you are utilizing.
그래서 된데기 항동기 시럽디기 아니 주남기 다 가서 그래 상예기 남샤세네 민도 인로기 남샤세네 민도 간들 주남기 뭐이기 니주 템바 다 타르 뚜바디 똑을 집에 시럽인 송사 다 상당에 야다 도기다 간들 고예와지에기다 타주에기다 등그 타주지에기다 간들 락샤도 마스네 옛날 메네디다 딜을 하가다 요 말했을 시제 디순고도
No. this penetrative insight, the wisdom aspect, is something that has this capability to know all phenomena. Within the whole phenomena, we have positive, negative, good, bad. All these can be known by utilizing this penetrative insight, the wisdom aspect. So in a way, we can see that as the wisdom aspect as a tool. And this is a tool that has the greatest potential to know what is the ultimate truth.
지상한서 남지 지든 잠배하게 차려야 단다 레디여 샤바디 다 레디디 가사디 덴데기 단다 한동 시럽디 춘든체 덴데 레디디기 안 가상 공도 덴데 하나 중이 그나네 완전 코에 자와 마릭바디 안 바다직 균지에서네 면도 마릭바디 다 자와네 봐 매버스야기 아니 다 레디 송고라 디인도 간다 한동 시럽디 말한지 귤이야 개버치고에 데이터베 개침부래도
No. So in order to utilize this penetrative insight of wisdom, that can be invoked as we see the deity Manjushri is the Buddha of the wisdom and has a sword in his hand, and that sword represents first interrupted from the 12 links of interdependent origination, the first, which is the ignorance. And this sword is interrupting the ignorance and then eventually uproot everything. So the capacity of this sword. So with this, what is indicating here is using our penetrative insight and wisdom to uproot this very ignorance that binds us.
진정한다 덴데 시럽디 귤이 개버쳐버려야 예 당부텔라 아니 신에게 셈낭도 구제 신에게 띵엔신디 구레스 제제니 신에게 띵엔신디 당원도 조고야 도스레도
With this understanding, this penetrative insight and the wisdom to gain optimally, and the very prior to that it's here stated very clearly that we have to have this single pointed placement of the mind, which is the calm abiding.
제단다 가상 쉬우는 시제 가상 아주 덴데 양라 중이 거대 시두산에 먼저 디나리아 가서 시버실리아 도스제제 예와르제 마상서
No. So then when we talked about the 12 links of dependent origination, we have categorized the four existence.
다시디 가래 당보디 당보기 중을전에 당보기 시제 대내원도 있으바 대내 치시 대내 버스스 시제 시디 와서
No. So it's the existence of the birth, and then from the existence of the birth, the existence of the living existence, and then the existence of the death, and then the existence of the intermediate stage. So these are four existences.
저선디 인도가네 다 기시 시제 간조 남기는 셰브나 시레다 간조 단대양 안줄리 유셰베게 미지디 다 미지 된데 템바다 그제 콘도 셰브나 시제 미지 기버스 니가로다 간다레 용하게 체도 다 당고 미중 고축도네 간데스 고축버스 셰 고축단데네 다 고축차레 다 되는 시베 갑려야 다 단대 고축선에 단대 유셰베 미지데 다 미지 간데스 기긴스 다 미지디 계산에 담에 탑슈들이야 아니 집에서 치시디 두고 왔어 아니 치시 두서거는 다 치시디게 양 야 가서래 디제들이야 개버치메게다 바르돌이야 년삼자고도 거는다 디참간데스 저기스 바르도 년삼자산에 야디 바르도디 개버치면도 또 두고 유선사 딘데기다 간다르 남샤 디 토리야다 나란주기 가서래다 도나체 디 토리야다 슈간데스 개긴스 제 디슈갑단데다 간다르리나야 남들 다 만화치다 아니 차상화치다 비다고시 땡게 유선사다 디토리아 당한서 지금 남균에 미즈투스키에 토나스제다 용단데 두스로가
No. Like repeatedly stated, we want to have a very happy life and a meaningful purpose in our life. And in order to have that, and as we look into the 12 links of dependent origination, of course, birth existence has already happened for all of us. Right now, in the second existence, which is the living existence, we are we are living, and then for that you have to reflect within yourself, how am I living my life? And that is a very important, crucial question that you have to reflect within yourself, because whatever how you live your life, at the end of your life, which is a death, and at death you again has to leave this existence and go to Partho existence, and then from Partho existence comes the next rebirth. See, so this process is something that is universal to all of us, and then having this understanding, we have to reflect deeply into that, and by relying on the scripture Lamrim, Stages to the Path of Enlightenment, because this is the text which really gives you a comprehensive, complete and correct practices which can bring you a invaluable source. Yes.
Tindigana da dilia, aranzi juge dilia, tindegi miziki judan dilia, so dom gyayundikane lunga yusumgu jube kone res, lunga yusumgu jube dilia, da danda konda sheva na shere, sangzho da yenjo nyi yube nane, da sangzho liya nyamsu lingi yina, ane jube karesena jube parshin jukdi res. Ane yenjo ne jugu yina karesena, kasi gibu chungu kabla temba na shere, gandar nunga sungta kandar migi chu cheba de res che dusi yawa chien gudwa.
No. So reinforcing again is that now how do we want to live our life, and by utilizing our body, speech and mind, how do we want to conduct our body, and of course we want to live a life of purpose with positivity, and this to increase this positivity you want to employ the sixth perfection in your conduct of body, speech, and mind. And if you don't do that, then you do the opposite, which is we went through the small scope individual on that area. They are the people engage into 10 non-virtuous actions.
Chazadi indikana ta zo ge shishune rangle ne mene da shenle ne mene ge she gure. Chazada shenle ya ne ba kaya da pemba tubya ge chedu ani parjin tugi chebe nane an kasin kondu shuba na shenre me tsudim ki parjin de ani dene yuzo longju liya kanda shigu yu me de ani jimbe parjin de dosche ani dene dindirjili ya shu kandes kyab gu yu me de ani zunju parjin de dosche dindir shu kyabala tene ani ta sogom kandes ten gu yu me de ani sube parjin ki de ra dindir chebar chebala ya ani zo sim zo karsoore 내절이야 구기 순사 아니 신에게 심 내절이대 근데 내절일 템벌 때네 아니 고 자와 털도 제셔야 된다래야 아니 시럽 글라바스 시셔도 슬레인 것도
So, looking at oneself, you don't want to do anything that harm oneself, and you want to do anything that brings you kind of beneficial for your oneself. At the same time, you want to do something that won't harm others, and also you want to benefit others as much as possible. And that kind of mechanism can be done only by employing the training on the six perfections. And the sixth perfection that flows here would be in the understanding that you want to have a pure morality, and as the morality is built up, then you can use the perfection of generosity to whatever material goods you have. You are unattached to your material things, and you give it with kind of relinquishment. And then you do it, this perfection, with joyful perseverance. And as the joyful perseverance builds up, then your patience develops deepen. As the patience deepens, you're able to cultivate the perfection of meditative stabilization. And if you are able to do the meditative stabilization, then the wisdom, perfection of wisdom can be developed at such juncture. So this is a sequential way how to reflect.
다 딜이야. 다 탑시 송제디 인지미지 거래 탑시 야제베긴 자원인의 핑규야 말에 송도 제고 그래서 송도 제고도 간에 다 가서 우리 탑기 심베 시럽당 아니 시럽들래양 아니 탑기 심베 시럽시도 수제제 구요레스 제제다 오도슬레인 것도
Then from that, we come to understanding that both the skillful means, the method aspect, and the wisdom aspect have to be in union. The combination is imperative. You cannot do one without another. Skillful means has to always hold on to the wisdom, and when wisdom you are focusing on, you have to hold on to the skillful means of the method aspect. So they have to be in union in your engagement of practice.
진이건데 탑기 차네 아니 조디 전주그 셈다 아니 시럽고 차네 조디 동의도 배 시럽스 제디니레도
And so when we break it down, what do you mean by skillful means or the method aspect, which is really very much this awakening mind of bodhicitta? And what is the wisdom aspect? The wisdom aspect is wisdom realizing emptiness.
저산디니건데 당전 남기 기르셔는 셔제 계획송으로 군기 닝비 된스 계세 남만 남게 가고야 남스 길된 타도 남기 중어대 지들은 시다게 셰버차 송원은 시 당한주 최지기네다 메시지기네 메시지기네다 다 간다르 메시기 닝부디 다 전주그 셈당 언동유도 베시럽되니 이래 송고도
So the beautiful verse from the scripture is whatever is the most essential, whatever is the instructions, whatever is the knowing phenomena, everything comes down to this understanding of the wisdom aspect, where Geshe says here that the essence of your life to be the essence of your life or the practice has to be intertwined with the awakening mind of bodhicitta and the wisdom realizing emptiness.
디디건데 가장 안주 남주기 측이다 디 참될래도요.
So with this understanding, so we from the lamp for the poetry enlightenment, we are on the verse number 41.
저스다 시지디 내주르시네 줍규르나 뭐시에다 견투로 주시 시네 다시네 줍네 안시라 파르 친주르다 제베 제바 세미 교르스 저사다 탑다 제베 셰럽기 아니 제바세 두고 말했어 디지르 뉴모 시지 제바이 디지르 제 뉴모 시지이 제바 말루 빵베치 셰럽 파르 친내줄 따도 탑제 공버차스 지도가나다 탑다 제베 시럽디 야다 토성분순 치고요레스 다 되네 탑단 제베 시럽당 시럽 제베 탑다경 간지리 칭와 셰 송바 디지니가 빵메자스 지도가나다 인지미지 탑시 송도 제와도 고마도 지가 차르레네 용마레스 나 시럽 디보도 쪽에 말래
No. So reading from the verse number 41, the first two lines, the focus was earlier was the calm abiding placement meditation. And so I read here 41 verse is when the practitioner has gained serenity, insight will also be gained. But without practice of the perfection of wisdom, the obscurations will not come to an end. Geshe indicates here that now the next is the wisdom, where wisdom has to be generated. Verse number 42, thus to eliminate all obscurations to liberation and omniscience, the practitioner should continually cultivate the perfection of wisdom with skillful means. So this perfection of wisdom has to be conjoined with the skillful means. Verse number 43, wisdom without skillful means and skillful means too without wisdom are referred to as bondage. Therefore, do not give up either. Here, the assertion here is that we need a union of both the skillful means of the method aspect and the wisdom realizing emptiness.
다 된대이나 아니 다 시럽 퍼진스 컨디션 뭐에 생기래 탑기 가서 퍼진스 컨디션 뭐에 생기랬으나 아니 시럽 강다 탑 강셔나 대좀다니 방제칠 탑남다니 시럽 계시 양다 여와세 버자 여와세 다 간데르스나 아니 시럽 퍼를 친 방배 진배 퍼를 친라서 계획소는 탐제다 겨와는 게 탑수 셰스 지지근에다 탑기 차디 다 집에 퍼지네 송대 삼대기 퍼진 봐도 안 탑기 퍼진 레스 탑기 차드레스 디송소.
Yes. And then we go to the verse number 44. 44 is to eliminate doubts concerning what is wisdom and what skillful means. I shall make clear the difference between the skillful means and wisdom. Verse number 45, apart from the perfection of wisdom, all virtuous practices, such as the perfection of generosities, are described as skillful means by the victorious ones. So here, the assertion here is that it is very clear that all 6 perfection, the first 5 falls under the categorization of the skillful means, the method aspect. Yes.
네. 교환함께 탑수셨어. 다 오나 탑디 간데스 제제 시럽기 심고로서는 아니 탑공 왕기 단위기 간시 시럽 남 공바 디네 전주 뮤도 톱 남의 집이 공바 메스 다 디디가네 다 지디가네 탑기 차딘데 식 디제 아니 데네 시럽기 차제 디니니 숭드 제비이나 아니 상기기 공바 톱이야다 터두기 아니 미네베 다 타르바 토베야라야 아니 딱 뉴르 톱도 그래스 셰셰 탑시 숭제 중나 아니 뉴르 톱도 그래 제제네 차다나네 아니 고마 상계기 공바 다 타르두베 대와도 톱기 말레스 어디 숭고도
No. And then comes the verse number 46. Whoever under the influence of familiarity with skillful means cultivate wisdom will quickly attain awakening, not just by meditating on selflessness. Here it is very clear that the union of both the skillful means and skillful means, the method aspect, and the wisdom realizing emptiness has to be all the time in the union, because without that, we cannot reach to the ultimate state of enlightenment or the Buddhahood, and we cannot separate each one of them. By themselves, each cannot travel by themselves, then you won't reach to the ultimate state. So in order to want a swift enlightenment, you need both of them.
맞지. 저한테 이거네다 단다 탑시니 된 거에 대해 배낭 란주였다. 단데 주제조의 상계기 공부해서서 상계기 될래야 공부될래야다 군니스제 남규 수구당 추구지고라 수구당 추구지기 선사 된데 순구 주제기 다 탑조 가인바디 아니 탑그 차나래야 되주고도 된데 추구 주제기다 규조 가인바디 아니 시럽기 발진나래야 도스두고 그래서 어디 쓴거도
No. Another way of looking at here is that both the skillful method of both Chitta and the wisdom realizing emptiness has to be there together. And the reason is because they both reach to the ultimate state of enlightenment or Buddhahood. Now, within the Buddhahood, we know that there are two divisions in terms of the body, the truth body and the form body, and form body is realized by doing the skillful method aspect of the path, and the truth body is realized through the wisdom realizing emptiness. So here it is very clear that in order to reach to the Buddhahood, these two bodies need to be conjoined through the method, skillful method, and the wisdom realizing emptiness.
다 되네 남주긴 대회 나만도나 뭐기 와대 또 제가 주라 제가 단데 십시 디코도 줘나
Yes.
yes 십시 그도 주도가 내년이야 자외측시 손체베나 다 숨주 속을 대화도 그도 줘도 가연스나 다 대사제되는 니바 신내는 지도를 롭주 응원을 숨제 신내 초된 바다 신내 지도를 공배주 공배 편유시 다 당분이 오늘 준주 직비 신내 주범시나 준주 직비 모두대 신내기 양라 교소 넘버 냠베니 준주 잡고 잡도 배대 유정도 공부를 제경 론의 동다 마보다기 양 신내기 기띵에서 주벌 메교시 디나 안에 대더라 양라 냠나 신내 미주바 디치 도디 띵에서 속을 리울레 녀살로 소벌레 아니 지게 송배 양라남 레버 내시 주베 띵에서 기브르 차오 다 간데스 기그르스는 이번에 대더라 신내기 교소란 내바디 계획 송배 검제미과 상급기 도당 댄줄레 중에 강양종아 직 달라 검지 기양네 개발라데 신도 미어를 심지지도 샤버를 차고스 다 숨버디 간데르스나 신의 지도를 검증했으나 대 장발에 아니 몸버시바 남게버라 마세 미도비 이시스리건다 띵에지기 신내기 담에 탑슈들이야 심지지도 냠버를 주바 미도비 이시 다냐 주버 교대 아니 주어진 비시네 무엇이 투단대 제 당제 사매남니 기베치 당불신의 기버 차스체 오도스这些 디포트 직세샤 십시시보더라.
No. So from the commentary, Geshe reads there, and then I'm going to read the commentary. From that, it falls under the verse 39. If the requisite for shamatha are lacking, one might meditate tenaciously for thousands of years, but never accomplish samadhi. Thus maintain well the requisites taught in the requisites for samadhi. Will diligence alone accomplish shamatha? You wonder. It will not. If the assembly of the causes or requisites for shamatha is lacking, one might meditate tenaciously with great diligence for a long time, but one will not accomplish the samadhi of shamatha even in thousands of years. Thus, if the requisites are lacking, shamatha will not be achieved. For that reason, maintain well and accomplish the elements taught in the tract on the requisite for samadhi, stages of the listeners, and so forth. Now, how to do this calm abiding meditation is only any of the focuses. Rest your mind on the virtue. One who maintains the assembly of causes for shamatha rest on the virtue of that which meditates one-pointedly without wandering anywhere else, or on any one of the focus for meditation taught by Buddha as they appear in the treatises. And the benefits of this meditation, when the yogi who strive with the flow of the river towards samadhi achieves shamatha, because of being well trained in that, not only do the clairvoyances arises, the wisdoms of non-thought are achieved. So Aditya himself taught to gain the power of clairvoyance and produce the undefiled paths, first develop shamatha or calm abiding. Yes.
탑기 차디 공바당 아니 신대원도 손에 관에 아니 디 평당 개변 가려르세나 아니 숨바 셰럽기 라발이야 롭술라 니스체다 탑셰 숭제기 태바템베 관에 한돈 로버템바다 한돈로 치달로베 수일로스 다 당볼로 숨 한돈 셰럽라 롭고베 김제다 탑셰 숭제 기제 롭고베 근제 송도 제베 남무 셰바호스 다 당분에 원의 신에다 디장병원 셰게바sam게 초감 냠나 지된베섬 삼된게 nyumu ngongyurdu pona yang te pana nyi tobe shirabki paryodu chimpe joam nejo dan trebe ani triba nyibu gangi yang she sabe sebar migyurde lube chimpu zendro kumye she samde nangme yangda yangdo ne nyebe tsangzi mabu sekche kyang dade zawa tenbu majuna chargi le she duna rabdu ke she sung she gyunzen di chena chaso nyumu wada nina trube bacha sheje triba 말류바 방배칠 딩이도 베시럽기 파르도 침베 내줄 뒤 따도 진속이 탑다 제베 권에 공부 자 고에데 은준줄레 뉴모 시지 지바이 면배님부 동반이 뉴르도 탐제 캔 되베 디네 지도로 공매자 스제시 송스와디 받으시죠. 집신이 드시죠.
No. So with this, attaining the calm abiding, and then comes the penetrative insight, and how to go about this penetrative insight has two topics: teaching the training in insight by way of teaching rational union of both the skillful means and the wisdom aspect, and how to train in this penetrative insight. This has three topics: the reason it is necessary to train in the wisdom of insight, and the reason it is necessary to train in the unified means of skillful means and the wisdom. An explanation of the actual unification of that path is without the training in the transcendental wisdom, the obscuration cannot be removed. Thus, to obtain all the obscuration, the cognitive along with the afflicted meditate continuously on the yogas of transcendental wisdom with its means. You might wonder whether it is enough to develop shamatha and the clairvoyances it leads to, though the worldly dhyanas eliminate manifest afflictions. Without the training or yoga of transcendental wisdom that realize suchness or emptiness, one cannot remove the seeds of either of the two obscurations. The great master Chandrakomi said, although forest fires of the dhyanas may burn time and again many shrubs of falls, if the deep roots of the self-view aren't pulled out, they will grow again as if moistened by rain. For that reason, in order to entirely eliminate the afflicted obscurations of the like greed and so forth, as well as the cognitive obscurations, the imprints of the dualistic confusion, one must continually at all times meditate on the yoga of the transcendental wisdom that realizes emptiness, along with it skillful means like generosity and so forth. As it says in the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, emptiness is the remedy for the darkness of the afflictive and cognitive obscurations. Why would not those who wish to swiftly become omniscient meditate on it?
지선 김전 됐다나 어느 탑도 집에 시럽 코나당 시럽도 집에 제다 탑 지구인의 코나기 상계 미도베 조장 된도니에 강사기 탑시 송제기 남는 높고데 균제 관계 채나 좀돼 되기 지마 매버 잡에 덴변 돌래경 탑단 집에 시럽니 칭왕우시 시럽도 집에 탑니 칭왕우 시 송바 대변나 니가 가양 방신 돌아쳐 니가 다 지금 참마사와 레레네 아니 딜레야 중네다 방신디 펜토요 마르스 돌아쳐오스 디직셰 데네 숨보 송제기 남니 셰바란단 도르덴 바타 게브르시보나 가르스나 원나 데다 소소용오 가인시나 시럽니 강 탐니 강시 마도바다 로버토바다 태숨도 교와 다니 방배칠 탐남 당내 이제 시럽기 칭이 제버더블 나와 대 친지만로 버려 양도 번유도 수수예와 개발 마제벌 세브르 차고 스제제 딥디다 시뷰 셰숨다 십신이 디디르샤.
Yes. Then the reason it is necessary to train in this unification of skillful means and the wisdom is so important and follows prajna without means wisdom without the skillful means, and skillful means that lack the wisdom are bondage, it is said, and thus don't discard either one. In this way, one will not achieve Buddhahood either with wisdom only without means, or skillful means alone without wisdom. Thus, individuals who seek perfect enlightenment must train in the path of unified skillful means and the wisdom. This is because the Bhagavan said in the sutra taught by noble Vimala Kriti, wisdom without means is bondage, means without wisdom is bondage. Thus, one should not discard or cast aside either one of them. And this has two topics, which is the general overview, and there's a detailed explanation within this. So the general overview here is that to eliminate any doubts about what wisdom is and what skillful means are, I'll clarify the difference between skillful means and the wisdom. What are each of their respective essences, you wonder, in order to eliminate any lack of comprehension, misapprehensions, and doubts about what wisdom is and what means are, I shall clarify properly and without mistake or ambiguity the individual distinctions or differences between the characteristic of skillful means and the wisdom, which might seem to overlap. And that comes 44 verse from the text.
다 시주 생활다 시주 얘기 아니 탑 뭐송하다 대 곰고베 고바다 엔 셔럽 뭐송 오지 다 당부 탑도 간제르스나 셔럽게 파르도 침발라밤 로수 까르네 델레션 찬주기 심기 심베제 침베 파르도 침발라 소바스도다 침베 버진네 삼대게 파진기 바르도 까부 계베초 넘버 탐제바 타예바다 두숨기 겨완남기 탑기 초수 도바인 버시버 셰토스 다 니버 셰르고 차데 가르스나 다 미다바다 아니 렌데네 잠데 아니 침발로스베 탐남 공바 신도 템버체베 왕기 알레 탑시다디 공고베 김제 왕기 장sem다 라니기 지나기 오부 가야로 와실라 민네 쳔머르진베 미데 쥐베 셰럽 넘버 콤파니 지바봉와라 네바신도 체베 딘넨라나메베 장주 묘원유도 톱을 규르기 탑기 차케도 세네 다음에 직비 공배네 라메 장주 두바 미노스 어디보다 시시주 디바도레샤.
Yes. And then comes the verse number 45 and 46. 45 is focusing here on how the skillful means to identify, and the 46 is identification of wisdom realizing emptiness. I read, apart from that is setting aside transcendental wisdom, all of the positive virtuous quality other than that, such as transcendental generosity, and then from there till the meditative placement, which is calm abiding, imbued with bodhicitta and so forth, are explained by the victors of 3 times to be included in the category of skillful means. Then the 46 is those beings who meditate on the wisdom swiftly achieve enlightenment by cultivating means, not just by meditating on the selflessness, by force of cultivating extremely stably the means from impermanences and karma and result through generosity and so forth. Those bodhisattvas who focus on any outer or inner thing and meditate on the wisdom aspect that cuts the focus, that apprehends attributes, have extremely strong power to eliminate the obscurations. Therefore, they will swiftly achieve unexcelled enlightenment. Unexcelled enlightenment is not achieved by ignoring the aspect of skillful means and solely meditating on selflessness. So we have finished till the 46th verse.
아니 되네다 데르바 아니 당동을 연 주부레스 당동 다 동의도 베시럽티 아니 동의도 베시럽기 동의도 거나 안 동의도 베시럽기 동의 간데스도 그래서 되거나 당연히 동반이 뭐여야 되라 아니 시 동의기 시 이거는 시되는 봉보다 감다 계제스 두스마다 당동 시럽것도 두슬랭고도 디다 먼저 제일 줘야 봐.
No. Then the verse number 47 reads, the penetrative insight is taught to be the knowing of of inherent emptiness that realize the aggregates, elements, sense bases, and don't arise. So basically here we are talking here is from here onwards is on the penetrative insight of the perfection of the wisdom aspect of it, and from here onwards we identify what is the in emptiness, or what is the basis of emptiness, and for that understanding these 5 aggregates, 18 constituents of the elements, and the 12 sense sources, all these includes under here, and from here onwards we'll do in the future class. So question answer. So question no.
I guess like okay. The Sheraki Lapa Che Sheraki Parutu Chimba Che Laton Disum Keche Dan Kebar Geshe Nang Nang.
디 빼고도 있잖아.
Do I have to?
Yeah, you can see.
So I asked Geshe to explain the characteristic and difference between higher training of wisdom, the perfection of wisdom, or the transcendental wisdom, and the insight or transcendent or higher, I don't know, higher
Penetrative insight.
Penetrative insight. Yeah.
다 시럽체, 시럽기 퍼진체, 아니 랑동스. 어때 뭐 주가 빼고서.
No, it's a very good question.
주가 군사하고 살아.
More or less. No.
할랄랍 살아. 제사다 단데 시럽 세지도와 시럽 디나리아 배낭 아주 디 개발요래. 가장 아주 그래서래. 전반이셔 시바.
No.
전반이셔 시 가래. 류소르 셈출이야. 전반이셔 된 거랬어. 전반이셔 때는 간데스 된 거랬으나 류소르 셈출 시기 때나 랑다 칭 랑기 칭에다 지 칭이니 공부를 스케지 디시고로 다 류저부 샤시나 류 랑기 칭이 가르스나 류 코랑 가장 아주 시험나 시제 다 간다라 샤다 타다 바과다 된데를 주셔바디 류 코랑기 투무메 랑기 칭이체 다 류기 지 칭이 되려 류 미닥바 임바당 류 다음에 봐 임바다 류 동바 임바디 다 류기 지칭이 되고 그랬어. 지칭이 제도가네다 류 코라 미다부터 배 시럽다. 류디 다음에 봐또 배 시럽다. 류 템퍼마두마 하면 류 동바니 또배 시럽디 다 단다 세번에 지단기 시럽디 시럽된지 시고 그랬어. 그래서
No, so with this question from Venerable Pamela, first let's take shirap, which in translation is called wisdom. What do you mean by wisdom as such? And Geshe is tying this to the four mindfulness of the body, feeling, mind, and the phenomena. So from all these, from these four mindfulness, let's extract the body mindfulness. From the body mindfulness, now let's see what are the distinct characteristics that belongs to the body, body mindfulness, and what are the general characteristic that falls under the body characteristic. Now, when we go to the body and the specific definitive characteristics, our body is made of bones and fleshes and blood, all these things. And these are the distinctive characteristic that belongs to the body. Now, what are the general characteristic that falls for the body? It's impermanence in nature, and the second is selflessness, and the third is emptiness in nature. So with this kind of understanding, breaking down from impermanence, selflessness, and emptiness aspect of the general kind of dissecting it, that falls under the wisdom. Wisdom.
인도가는다 덴데기 풍부디 가르소리 샤다 탈레 때는 줍샤바다 아니 따지 딘데 임베기 또베 시럽디 당아주 미창매 규례 요래 시럽디 미창매 규례에 맞아 패신 둔죽 규례 시럽디 요래스.
Now, understanding these specific characteristic that belongs to the body is something that everybody will know it. Everyone, every human will know it. Is that it's made up of flesh, and blood and bones, and even the animal are able to identify this characteristic.
이거는 다 디간데 다 딘데 풍부디 미다고 임버 또베 시럽지 요르와.
No.
디 시럽디 땅 아주 간데스 장국으로서는 다 가장 본데 셰브나 시레. 다 기부 중을 랑기 남리아 남샤 제베고네 대신 미다볼라 주베고네 다디 미다고 임바디 다 고든 시럽디 모연 진규를 마도지기디 다 미창매규라 디 디스커버리스.
Now, when it comes to the wisdom, the understanding of the impermanence aspect.
어디 마신 미다고도 시럽디 또도 시럽디 다 샹달레 타와다 미티스 남주 영이 된줄라 다디 용 수서와 디샤신 지도 진짜 미다고도 시럽디 당아서 또 나주도 나징이세 민도 징이지라 고든데 풍부디 다과템바 매바다 교와도 임바다디 다 지당 미상매기 신투로 봤어 디스 다 도나 딜레팅 섭스다 토성 고스무 징이지나.
No. Then comes this general wisdom that encompasses, that can be known to people who are exposed to Dharma a little bit, let's say the general characteristic of impermanence, people need little bit of intelligence to have this, but people who are exposed to Dharma will know this by again hearing, contemplation, and all this through that process.
지금은 그 기지 교환 두고요 바다 그 교관라 때문에 연구요 바당 이게 강라 때문에 연구요 바디 그 these things substitute 간다로 도나지 제는 맛이 연구면도 와서 된데베 시럽디 딜레 또스 민남지 타가 규래요 그래서.
Understanding of the impermanence wisdom can be known by people who are exposed at the same time, who have some kind of intelligence, and that will know the momentary changes of everything. Everything is dependent on causes and conditions. These are people who have a little bit more intelligence and who are exposed to the path.
다데네 류디 동아인 바디. 라 동아이디 가자 딱바다 지다 라와에 동아시기도와 다 딱베 동아시도 간에 그 딱바 템바 마레스 제제 간다고 미다고 참모 대간 또고야 되제 다와 아니 동아레시도 전에 다 동아디 가래 지원다 되네 직부디 그 차셰라 마덴버 그 직부 마레스 가인스나 풍부디게 참말로 수수수수 랑기 차셰리아 되는 줍도요 레시도 간에다 참매기 직부인바디 공가셔스도 간에 딜레티스 띵 섭슬라 사무시단 거고다 참매 직부 다 되네 동아스도 간에 아니 가서 랑자 투베 제기 동아레스도 전에 다고 유크랑기 원에서 두버지고 말에 로이 팔에 따고르스 제제 고랑자 투베 제유 기계제디 시인도 간에 다고 가서래 풍부디 동아인바 또발라 아니 따단다 기부 중어단 딩기 랑게 남샤 소절이야 마주나 아니 디토베 시라디 용야 거랍니다 와서.
As we deepen this profound understanding of the wisdom aspect, the people who have more kind of exposed to the Dharma, especially this small scope individual and the middle scope individual, who are exposed to the Dharma in relation to the emptiness aspect of the wisdom, they will know. Unless if you are not exposed to those small scope individual and the middle scope individuals, there's no way to understand that. And these are, the understanding of that everything exists from the permanent, unitary, independent existence, you have to do a negation of that by realizing the wisdom that it is emptiness of a nature. Everything is impermanent. Everything is relied on parts and subparts, and everything is dependent arising. So all these, the process of applying how to negate the negate the object, and then understanding all these can be only exposed by delving deeper into these emptiness aspect through contemplation, and that needs deeper exposure to Dharma.
제산다 디 기부 중후단 딩기 강사시기 균마시면도 왔어.
So this is particularly in terms of will be exposed to people who are in the small scope individuals and the middle scope individuals.
제제 다데네 류 다음에 봐또 되잖아. 다 다도 주바 랑원의 주바 시도가네다 류디 똑베 딱점 임바 또 되가네다 동반 얘기 체 줘보고는 또 그도가네 된다버데다 항동 그도나 마도 지기 다 로션다 또 두면도 왔어. 항동 또 그거래 강사대야다 기부 준비되는 주도도 왔어.
When it comes to the understanding that this body is impermanent, its absence of inherent existence, and everything is through the mere designation, everything is through the mere designation, you need a wisdom. And that time, the penetrative insight, understanding of Lakdong here in particular, for the great scope. So the merely designated, that kind of penetrative insight is needed.
랑원의 주버다 임바만의 세대 되고래.
Impermanent lame.
아니 랑원의 주.
And then it goes to the penetrative insight.
자산디 인도가네다 시럽 가서 퍼징 난기 시럽 세야디 다조 가르세나 단다디르바 조 상기 귤이야 로에 간다 조 퍼징 쪽이 지기 심리 로에 디나라 지기 되게 될야다 퍼징 시럽스
Then you said about the wisdom in relation to this wisdom of perfection, and that wisdom of perfection falls under the categorization of the sixth perfection. So Pajin took that is for the great scope individual.
당기 쉬는 시럽래야 나가 망보도와 시럽 나가 망보이도 간에 지당의 시럽디 풍부 랑기 칭이 30동에디 미창매 귤이야 지단의 용식을 딜레 띵섭 풍부 미다부터 간 레인도 간에 미다보다 아니 동에 간 레인도 전에다 중된들이야 투섬체 아니 하다나말이야 소화답세하는 시제제 도스제제는 그때는 또 구도 되네다 공부 다음에부터 되가네 그닐로 털도디 닐로 털도도 또 되잖아요. 아니 도도도 또 버쳐발라 아니 한동기 당신에다 한동이게 슈캡지 아니 또 그거요. 그래서
So there are different gradation. The first is when we just say wisdom is applicable to all, where people, intelligent people can understand it, whatever is to be learned. But when it comes to the impermanence and the empty nature of things, then you need to rely on scriptures, and then also you have to supplicate to your guru. Yeah. And for that you have to study the scriptures. When we go deeper into the profound meaning of emptiness, then it is the ultimate selflessness. Then you need this penetrative insight and calm abiding both. So that's how it goes. The question at the back.
Geshe, yesterday you briefly talked about the types of birth that sentient beings can take through a womb or an egg or spontaneous birth. And I'm just wondering if you can give examples of the kinds of sentient beings that take birth through warmth and moisture.
계산 gelagi da chik kiwi rimbaga do ani mei ni kebada
Keneshi.
kinishi lao kinishi ni kewadi sonsons ani da chu ni kewadi ani di peshishadas
Ale treni kewe.
no
Ale trege ki midi pena mid da midi ne she so chugu gyura pena manzo luk zuma ki ki shigo maro chadida. Luk
lao
nyama luk so yesh ro.
gonga maregera
Tida mara konga da ko lo atosa. Konga konge na chu ro. Tanda trege ki ba chu ro. Trege pena tanda luk ki go maro kandere. Nga hakume nyama tende ko nyo yo maro trege so shaba.
So Geshe is just asking from the moisture he heard about sheep. Is there any way?
Nge ta dinsan to nyama lugyu dende nala ya nyime nyens shije nyime gi dröle tene kansa kebe dende ta chi lugyu da namda dende nala shigdwa ta ngoy ne zig mi tong ti da yo mar yine kene shiga yore sa sigdwa
In the classical
ta mile yore sigore yine ta chidangi dröge di mile da dende yone mene kandra simje shindala dröle ke shaba dende ta namgyune ngoy zenya chik this woman shag bula sowa da buzima buji dröle ke yo shaba odi ke shigdwa
no. So Geshe says in the story in the back in the days they are saying that from the warmth of the sun, the beings can be born. So all these are in the stories, but also whether through the moisture a human is born, that's debatable. But more of other beings can be born, that's for sure. Like small worms, that comes through moisture. We can witness that.
dröge shigorwa
No.
ta mi anzo mi thoya da chik che dende khasebu da mal shue me de yine lugyu dende na ya kanda tangya da sebu lugyu tremen suma da kandri nime nyes je minkora nime nyes da gudwa kansa ni chung res nime nyes go ya karsne nime dröle tene de ta dende mi ni chung res ki je chiorda
Mini chures.
nime nye
Ni ale.
nyes du gani nime droche ne ke shaba
Nime choshine. So Geshe says here he has no clear statement on whether it's born out of the humans being born from the womb, but definitely they are sayings about sun through the sun and the sun radiance. The human form can be born.
Di shayna nime nyende yana konga le keba shayna da ngay di sebu shi tremen sunda konga di jingi nana konga che tele nime chik ki shayna da zhoni keba chik di jizu dang dine keba dinde shagdwa namkyu miki da jengu dang dinde keba dinde pe dinde chik shayna da ngay sebu tremen sunda
So Geshe is not clear, but also the human being born from the crown, from Chizu means crown, but these here he's he is not clear about these accounts. Next question, yeah.
Thank you, Geshe. So for someone like myself who probably needs to work on the first 5 of the 6 perfections for a while before I can really get any sort of deep understanding of wisdom, if I'm focusing on something like ethical discipline, how can I make sure that to some extent that's still united with that wisdom aspect, even if my understanding of emptiness and whatnot is still at a limited level?
Morai ki chudi nyamlen chiwe kapsu ta thanda to chashna phajin tu na ne phajinga del shuge reshas ra rangi nedan do china shira phajin de tati thanda et chala kala kha koreshas yine ta handa chudum ki phajin de ta susu nyam sulang ki yudu chudum phajin di nyam sulang we kapsu la shira ki chesim bachi an thablam chi na ro nas ta khurang la
shirab 수줍 냠내 제베 갑들래
어 시럽기 찌심바 직다 가시는데 간다 장고로와 그런 오늘 원디기 시럽기 퍼진디 수준 퍼진 냠술랑을 걸 냠도 자르투에기 덴데기 다 펜도 요에기 니 람데 나로나스 그런
저디 냄균에 베나 수줍기 퍼진 소르지 냠내 제베 갑들래야다 룽하기 예주디 남기 인스시지 냠내 제디디르 왔다 조 돌드나 류당아다 아니 조조 룽하기 예주디기 담기 인스라고 하라 다 룽하기 예주 담기이나 룽하기 예주 담고야디 가르치는 담기 인스나 다 룽하기 예주디 아니 파다딜 담바 잠시 마인 버시지 아니 델 파제버치네 룽하기 예주 담나 아니 디기 페윤 가르도 케벤 가르도 마담나 디기 교연 가르도 예바 가르도 시드잖네 디니니기 교연다 연대니디 예와지디가네 연대 디니니디 예와지베 그다 시럽 찍리는 거로
So in terms of the ethical morality, when you engage in, mainly you're focusing on how you conduct your physical body and also your speech. So when you do that, most important is you are restraining. You're restraining your body and speech in terms of any kind of negative deeds, and you're cultivating a positive, the behavior of the body and speech. When you do that, analyze it, critically analyze it, that when you are engaged in the ethical conduct, what are the benefits and what are the disadvantages of not doing it? So having that comparison, you will gain some kind of wisdom, what to adopt and what to not adopt. That itself is holding on to the wisdom.
디직체 데네 니버데라 다 수줌 숭구이나 수줌 숭세기 숭자 파종어 심제 가르치도 수줌 숭구인스 아니 숭야기 수줌 다 간다르디르 코르숨세디 유당 아니 유진 라니당 아니 유딜레 주베다 수줌 스제제 니숨도 파 카세부세디
Then the next level is when you do this ethical morality of gathering virtue, there are three things that's happening. The object where you are abiding the ethical morality, this is somebody else, and then yourself, and then the morality itself. So these three dynamism you have to bring to mind.
자 딜레 갸체 수도가는다 수좀 송구이나 셴을 내버 지기면서 거다 셴을 내버 맞이버디 셴 수수기 년이 둘을 내버 지기면서 삼스레 야 수수기 가르소래 초도질이야 다 간다를 딜을 내버 지기면서 삼스레 다 수수 다다 년다 바마 개발지 매 술이 이내양에 다들 내버 지기면 디치등의 수좀 송구인스 제제 다 파종어들이야 예와진의 딜레
And then the next level is in terms of how do you expand your morality in relation to the others. The first is, do you want to abide by your ethical morality in relation to others, just not to harm others in relation only to your close proximity of relatives? Or do you want to do to your segregated kind of group? Or do you want to expand to all, whether they are close or unclose or strangers or whoever, all of that. So the next level is all about how encircled the expansion of your ethical morality.
다 소소랑이기 수림 송구도나 수림 송야디 기부 중의 될 취하게 된다래야. 그래도 양 기부 딩기 공도래 취하게 된다 그래도 양 랑이 기부 침부 차야게 된다 수림 송구도 제제 랑이 수배 잡이나 던데값 되라 다 기부 송구 남샤간 수 랑이 디스움 간 취마저 간 로고도.
And then the next level of ethical morality that you wish to abide is in relation to oneself. So in oneself, why are you abiding by this ethical moral campus? Do you want to do that? You want to enter into small scope individual? Do you want to enter into middle scope individual? Or do you want to enter into high scope individual? And because of that, you want to abide by ethical morality. So we have to do that reflection.
다들 수rim들라 가서 쇼나 셔나 수림 숨이 봐.
No.
수림 숨들라 당고 니슈도 수림제.
No.
되네 아니 딜레스 파티지도가네 아니 겨와추도 수림 심제 된제기 수림제. 심제 된제기 수림제 사선에 디지다니 겨와추도 수림들래 이거 봐.
No.
되는데가 안다 수림 순간 레야 슝 dimje chigin ba tene surim chiksam chigin ba nisam chigin ba stayan dilleswa surim kona kana.
No. And then within the ethical morality, there are three different types of morality. The first one is you want to restrain from any kind of non-virtuous action. Second is you want to abide by ethical morality of benefiting other sentient beings. And the third is the ethical morality of doing virtuous gathering or accumulating virtuous deeds. So again, question yourself, which of these three do you want to intensify, accordingly from these three?
제산다 직점 셔나네 셔는 네바 마시삼 셔와.
No.
니베 치기는 네바 마치베 세금을 디간을 셔를 팬토고 있으리와.
No.
다 숨바디 개와 추디스도 된데 팬토 발을 때네 아니 수수규리야. 아니 개와 닝지기기 장주그 심기기 야나 예중그 삼바기기 디디 아니 개와 추디그 수림스도 차도도.
No. So it's according to which one you want to intensify. If you are single-handedly saying that I want to do only one type of ethical morality, and that is not harming others, so that is only in relation to oneself. But then if you want to go deeper or profound, then it comes the second one, which is not only myself, I want to benefit all sentient beings. So it becomes more profound. And the third one is that you want to do the ethical morality in terms of gathering virtue. So what kind of specify that virtue? Is it the virtue of generating the awakening mind of bodhicitta that you want to develop, or is it the development of the great compassion? So you can do in this kind of segmentation.
디체베나 아니 탑시니가 상조스와스나.
And if you do in this way, then both the skillful method and the wisdom comes together.
디지디다 랑다 셰니갈 펜스와스.
So if you do that, then it'll benefit oneself and others at the same time.
시제 아니 다 된데기 좀제 미디 교구 템발라 아니 신에 다 준주기 퍼진 거에 되고 그거 차스와스. 고야 경.
No. And in order for that result to swiftly happen, then definitely you need the perfection of joyous perseverance.
다 된데 디제산으로와 대양 세디스미시 마진바 개와 치만남소로 구도 시도가네 아니 수정부 퍼진 딜레간 제대치 거에 차록도.
And then this joyous perseverance is not only meant for only this life, but for the future life. Then you make it makes affirmation within yourself that this joyous perseverance becomes very, very significant.
아니 다 셴 펜도 제바데야 펜도디 다 진배 냠내고네 펜도 제 누가네 진바데라 아니 선신고네 펜도 지기 아니 추기 펜도 지기 야 민지배 껴배고네 펜도 지기세 아니 진배 냠내도 도슬레 것도 왔어.
No, and then you want to benefit sentient beings. So in order to do beneficial action, and then the perfection of generosity comes in. So perfection of generosity, what kind of generosity you want to do? Is it in terms of material gifts, or is it in terms of guiding others with teaching, or is it protecting people from any kind of fear, protection? So these are generosity one can employ.
다 된데디 뷰다고 용 마용다 고 무투 마두 세야데 아니 수배 냠네들 연구도.
And then in terms of that kind of action to be in a pristine state and on a continuous basis, then you need the perfection of patience.
So, a few times during the teachings, Geshe-la has said that love and compassion are innate within all of us. And this morning, at the beginning of his talk, he said that insight is innate within us. I don't know if that meant Laptong is innate within us, or was it Sherab?
I can ask.
Yeah, so anyway, if Geshe could say more about that, does that mean that every one of us has had these qualities in our mind from beginningless time?
It's like Godu Nimakashi that Chambata Sewajura, the Susu Ranchi Suyori Chikalushnasus, and Tari, Mixegi Nalola, Ania, Chik Shirab Jura, Shirab Ke, Jura, Wondi, Susu Rangi, Yore, the Sosus, so to the things, Mazuna Lola, Tachik, Yundegi Chachura, Chambani, Ani Shirab Kichati, Ani Chikiwa Toma Mevanation, your ways. Yes.
인데기 차시 쓰고라.
Yunde long.
단데 디르다 단데 연데 창모 고예요 말다. 단데 제외기 랑신 세야 당 시럽기 랑신 세야 어디 쓰기다.
So is
샘기 때문에 유배 제외기 연대당 아니 시럽기 연대당 띵예지기 연대당 그래서 냐만해요.
yes, the qualities in terms of seva here is the affectionate love, and then the wisdom, and then the single-pointed meditation. All these qualities are there from the beginningless. No, here, wisdom, he already explained with Pamela's question. Wisdom is different from Laoton, Yeah. I don't know. No.
다디 어디를 주저 요거의 김전 가르서는 예로 안조 심중업 중 아니에요 봐. 심중업 중 아니 나네 심 군리야 캬베요 봐. 군동아시고로. 군도 줘봐서 군도 줘봐 군동아디 가르서는 심 창말 예하고 요르시고로. 심 창말. 심 창말세디 계획심이네다. 미계획심이네다. 농어대에는 창말 요르시고로. 심딜 유디자는 군동아디 가르서는 둠바 메바 템바 띵인신 시럽레. 제산 시럽고 차대고 안에 유효거래도 되네 직 띵인신들이 유효거래도 제산 지두간에다 가르소래 신에다 황도니기 자와 숨서디 띵인지다 시럽이 들어봐. 제산 군이 자와 숨서 띵인이디 유효거래. 되네다 둠바다 메바 템바세야지로와 템바세야디 다디 나로네마 고야 데레티스 치다 간다르 세미양 코치레 로가체레 다 둠바세디 그뒤에 나란줄로 둠바 되바지기 요래 둠바 되바 요나 가리 되고 어르서나 대화 되베 마도지기 대화 되바디당 동해 민두베기다 민두베들와 진두간에 된데 대화 되베기 되셔디 자원닝지 들어와 자원닝지 유두간에 된데기 자원닝지당 아니 가르소레 삼대기 시 띵엔진데당 항동기 시 시럽데디 당분에 가는지 셈기 때문에야 요요거래도 요저디
결라 군중아디 소화도시 심베기라 치버르셔. 아니 융잉아디
알호르디 융행아디 저러 지구디 소화 소화 두시 셈바 일라체바 렉바르도 어르셔 소화 두시 셈바 일라체바 아니 렉바티체 어르르 되네 융행아디 아니 듬바 메바 젬바 띵엔지 레다 어디에다 디삼다야도 다나 지도간에다 단대디레 제상에디 투샤 제상딩 단대 띵엔지 차당 셰럽그 차당 딘조 양심 계획 차려야 리기도 아까 계획 차 용조 리기도
in the 51 mental factors, there are 5 omnipresent mental factors, and there are 5 to the object, ascertainment or object, which is feeling, discernment. So to Semba, which is I think the intention, yeah. So dushi simba yile chiba in contact, attention, and rekwa is the contact. Yeah. So Geshe is going through these mental factors. Yeah. So that's what the explanation happens in terms of that relationship between the mental factors of the five omnipresent mental factors and the 5 ascertainment, yeah.
지자디 이거는 딱 간다를 도 뒤양 안서 된다 세가 돼야 되라 계획로 강의부들라 융행아디 두고 그 융행아디 나라야다 띵엔세다 셰럽당 디창루도 계시시 디리샤 제잔디 예수자다 디 르기 네바디 로 줍자네 로 네바디 여벌 셔기임바 야 간데 셔기임바다 디 삼다야다 디 코라 로코랑 네베나라 란제스 여벌 삼다나네 개왕가망가마네 여벌라 고 다데리아 디 가서 김제도 살아봐
In the 5 omnipresent mental factors, in terms of concentration and the wisdoms are there. So this is something that we can reflect deeper on, whether that has the wisdom, what kind of wisdom aspect it's talking about. And these also can carry virtuous states of mind, because omnipresent mental factors are pervasive to both the positive and negative. Question from there?
Thank you. It was mentioned that discursive thought can be addressed in 2 ways, either to kind of settle down the thoughts or the mind where the impurities fall to the bottom, or the analogy of water and dirt falling down, or through filtration. And I was wondering, for the first one, is that more of a suppression technique of afflictive thoughts and discursive thoughts? And on the second one, would lojong be a filtration process, kind of purification?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, so you are clarifying this. Because in Gelai page the chuda tambajera, she won the glass chinalula chiglama that kingi samama nevada and new de la da filter chiwati and chi sung sos. Says a tambo dila namdo the ma semi ma nembatosh. The dichik some not on the degree rest. And new way cups of filter chitu and it a lojongi tone. The dinzu samnotane and ko the Tibatai Kitablam. Then digital Kuachana digunas.
당분이 남도 맞춘 다야체
That num to Simkima Nimbache, suppressed labor. And he knew what that suppressed the numto del Samnomata doji, some relation much shower doji. Knew what the lojongi tony, yamnegi tony, and filter chiegi, the samno tony. Dende samnotan the digunas.
섬는 되게 세부랑 책이 있냐면은 저 계시주 단대디나야 시내당 항동라반의 신리샤. 그러나 간다 수수 셈리야 뉴무직 그딱 간다 수수 셈디 두고도나 안 담보 셈코랑 시내기 차네 셈코랑 르르제 시월 내버 탑시체 다 딜직버를 단나 모란라면시 남도 유도 마치버시 셈코랑 마 nembar chibache. Da sem kona nembar dawa tsamgi shoshibada, daga namgi doba tsimba mashabache. Di kande langdo ki chebache nirwa, da kandar nge sem chukoya tang, namdo shar koya di, ani gyu da gen kararedos. Ani ungo ki gyu kararedo. Koya tsawe gyu kararedo. Ani gen kararedo. Dus chiche zeju chene, ani nyumo diliya, nyumo korangi da kandar gyoyen tang. 아니 그 님이 되게 따토 정수나 안 다 필터 잡으셔다. 제베다 필터 내시듯이.
For that clarification, if you do in that way, then it cannot be encompassing the whole. So it is important to use both the calm abiding method. And the calm abiding here on the first scenario, where you says that the dirt settle down, it's much more like not running after the thoughts, but staying in a calm abiding, resting. So that's one phase. The second, and then don't be content. That's what Geshe said. Don't be content. Now go to the next level of the filtration process. And how to do that? By applying the penetrative insight. Here, whatever afflicted emotion or the discursive thoughts that's happening, try to find why it is happening and what is the primary cause, what is the root cause, what are the concomitant condition that makes it arise, and see now the negative mental state, see the disadvantages of all these things. When you do in this kind of process, it can uproot the discursive. Not only that, this is a much more a stronger method. So.
Thank you. I have a question to going back to the very beginning, kind of, but also it leads into this present state. Geshe said the importance of the prerequisites for calm abiding. There are these environmental ones, but also the ones that you start cleaning the room and sitting yourself in the sevenfold Vajrayana position and then doing the lineage prayers. So my question is regard to the lineage prayers, because I'm now talking of several people and my own experience, is the importance of the lineage prayers, the importance of the teacher transmitting the teachings and remaining in the relationship with the teacher for all of that what we are learning here from the beginning to the end. Because some Westerners, or many Westerners, including myself, had or have some difficulties with that. In the Tibetan tradition, it's taught from the early on. So, but here it takes us time. So I would be interested to learn Geshe-la's position on that. Thank you.
Yes. Gelai shine drupe ngundu ani shine gita keju diora 참고를 순수 안조에 조디 주에 추투디가를 순수스가 주에 추투 나로네 다 내가 지도 지어다 류남낭기 추도 디주다 하고도 네다 초신진 장네다 지 규벨라마라 소와다 베시라 디슈칼레도스라 아니 믹세기다 직치게 지소나라 디칼레 디텐데 연구요레스 뭐라 치기 임베차네 칼도스라 아니야 벽이 나유들라 디다 주진일랍기 유디다 funzu를 답되고 요로스 디 기다 직탑람다 디 톨랄람드시나로나스
디 소신전 자야들이야 그냥 당부 계시슈 소신들이야 이와도 망고도 알아 가서라 군디누블로다 톰소소소 데 톰소다 군디누블로스 제제 등이 둠들을 이야왔지 그러나 안 소신전 공대자네 듄이야 공기에 랑기 지주로 공기에 소수 검색이 내디 레야 도나지체 봐 디체 사선의 계시슈다 딜이야 바제드마선의 시슈디 가르세나 다 디르바 가서래 대좀다 도바딘 수사 계시슈다 대바당 나디다 계시슈래도 대바 다나 이지디.
So for that answer, this is visualization of the merit field and seeking the lineage blessing. And for the merit field, the visualization, there are different ways of the merit field. One is Shakyamuni Buddha as one entity. He encompasses all the thing, and another is merit field that is much more diverse with all the lineages. So whatever you are comfortable with, so do that. And then in terms of visualization, where do you want to visualize? Front generation, or above your crown, and creating the environment as such. All these are so important. What is the obstacle for this? The major obstacle for all this is you having doubt when you do this. So in order to remove that kind of doubt, then you have to intensify faith and have this kind of pristine kind of fervent devotion and trust. It's called yije in Tibetan. So those are important.
다 제자 수수 범세네디 지주다 닝거니디 지기도 라 닝거요.
So the placement is on the crown or at your heart.
제. 다 수수기 디지데 간에 선대 주고 삼바다 초던데 사고 섬서도나니 등기 남갈이야. 미고 때지 디체비나 도슬로라야.
No. If you want to seek supplication to the lineage gurus and all and accumulate merit, then it's easier to generate the front generation.
다 수직이 내도다 집어다야 치도 조지고 섬서 유나네 아니 지도로 검세 지도네 마 디스페션 제제마 집어다야 삼타나네 대양 디스 미고 차르대야다.
No. And in terms of that you want to remove obstacle in the relation to your own sicknesses or any kind of purification, then visualize on the top of your crown, and then you can receive the blessing and all this in easier to do the visualization.
어디 이거는 어두스면 뭐야나 아니 계시지 단데나 시레다 대바당 아니 다나 장투베나 가서 대바다나 장투네 아니 미고디 세라다 유르마당 아니 다 깔레마가 연서와.
And like stated earlier, it is very important to deepen your faith, deepen your pristine awareness, and seeing the qualities and all this. The more you do all this, the better is your visualization, and you can do it continuously. And if you do that, then you won't get tired. No. Pamela.
Visualization de control qui colle nang tu de rimba gu de kerang de creation son de control rakpa de ngancho noki me ine tramo de ngancho noki de karechene noki me de Geshe nang. So I'm asking Geshe about what he said about anger relating to the 9 levels, that the coarse one doesn't harm us, but the subtle ones harm us. Like, to explain a little bit about that. Tushinang.
콘드라베기 너도 너기로 봤어. 이내 너섭 체 요마레 딜레 콘드 차디기 너섭 치그레스 게제디로 봤어.
It's important to understand that the gross anger doesn't harm at all. It's not that. The connotation is it harms the coarser kind of anger, but in terms of the intensity of harm, it varies.
다 제상 콘드라고 세네 민루 지 거두 콘드 사야 되기 거두들이야 지 파종원이야 네바다 소소리야 숨부르지 요르데 딩시 딩기 콘드기 자와르데 여베이나 다디 겐 간데지 테베이네 수솔레 거두이네 고 라지 되기래 아니 파종원이네 간다리 겐 춘주 체스난 남사 코야 랑추르 연두자네 제상 뇌야디 아니 유징아 다 나야디 아니 콘드 충아디 고 뇌서디 풀풀데 디뇌체 도와서 와 더 그도 롱랑 지기 제디 고 그도 레마도 지기 고 셈딩네 디가스 뇌서 연구마라 간다르 유징로 다 간다 유징로 샤네 디그제 봐 콘드라고 되게 그 교수레마도 유릉부터 지도 말에 다 콘드 차스네 미도 춘주 된저 아니 그 유릉부지 간다 셈네 되기도 봐.
No. It is important to understand here that when it comes to the cross and the subtle kind of anger, let's see, the cross kind of anger is much more like immediately manifesting, immediately manifesting, and of course it can harm the other person and all this. But that how much harm and all this in terms of time frame and all this, that's something we can look at it. But the more difficult is the much more rooted deep inside, which are more kind of subtle kind of anger that is there within us, lingering. And not only that, it's there in a continuous basis, and it has the power to harm more. And not only that, it harms oneself, and also it will harm others. So in terms of this, the subtle kind of, which is deep rooted in us, this Geshe says about let's do a time frame, that has more lasting. Whereas the crosser kind of anger is like immediately you do it and then, it won't last that long. So the more kind of, difficulty is the more the subtler, then that's why the more powerful.
자샬렌 세죠 말아 콘도산.
Allah.
어디. 그래서 콘 참으되는 거 자샬렌 도와. 셴바도서 콘도 삼스 마시지게 미카시 콘도 사바 삼시레마도 자샤말레니 망고도.
No. Another example, we can say that the more the subtle kind of more anger that is deep rooted, then we really want to challenge, pay back. Yes. Whereas if it's much more of a manifest, we don't want to do that,
디모 콘도 디디스 어서 마스네 다 인지 디기니 스도 고에 통보 여러 미카시 여러 남규딜이야 가스제 셈딩네 콘도 상이지 두아스 디년가 차 두아스 나도
So, maybe in the English term is called it's like tricky, So like this person who is deep rooted with anger has a deep rooted anger, but they may appear very smiling and all this, but deep down they have that anger. So that's tricky.
디년가 차요 말레스.
Isn't that more dangerous? Lamsela, and we have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Geshe, you've mentioned a few times making stainless prayers, and I was wondering what the difference between dedication or ngo in stainless prayer munlam is, and then also what kinds of stainless prayers that Geshe regularly makes.
Gelagi melum tima bebe samjol sonso stiki melum tima bebe samjol tada and namgu gi yala dungi ngo melum shujra and di para keba careers and the need to when you with the Geshe melum tima bebe samjol da kagich karinangi nas melum tima
melum 근데 디가스 melum tima bebe 참자세야디 망체지 다 간다를 참자세야디 겨워치말이야 참자스케지 딜레인 거라.
No.
디인디
No, so when it sees the statement in terms of stainless prayer, we are really the stainless prayer is meant more focuses on the future rebirth.
그래서 디인디가는 또 인디가는 다 수수기 겨워치마디 녀리안 담고도 와서.
first for that, in order to do the stainless prayer, we need to choose where do you want to be reborn.
제선다 개와치마 담당 다래 순도르드나 개와치마도 수소 기부치 구구도 된다 템바시 구구도 스타 디간레 구도스.
What you choose for the next rebirth, again, it's same fundamental, where you want to be born at a happy state with meaningful purpose.
다 개와치마디 기부치 구구도 삼산 되나니 아니 조다 당신 유도 셰레도 와서 당신 당신 망고지 여러 신고 어디야.
So if you want a happy state for the next rebirth, then the Geshe says you can focus on the pure realms.
다 미지 된데 템바시 용을 채우도 삼산 되나니 아니 된저게 밀 된저 가서 대화기에 단 저버주 상배다 밀룩 소리 된조다 고 겸전시도 왔어.
No. And if your focus is more of the meaningful purpose, then you want to be reborn where you attain this precious human life with the 8 features of leisure and the 10 endowments.
지속하는데 덴데지 수수 그 가서를 미유다 듬바장네 아니 델리아다 간다를 면람 해야 되나 아니 면람 좀 참자해야 돼 면람데 덴데지 차도도 와.
No. And with that as an aim, then you make a aspiration to be reborn into such state, and that if you do in that fashion, that is meant by stainless aspiration prayer.
다 신심제 탐제리야 템버시치고도 심제 탐제리야 다 간다를 수전 자와지 소도 섬을 준비이나 아니 남기 수수 내가 제시 개와 제시바디 아니 뭐하다 면함스도 가서르다 개와 강투셔바디 심제신이야 뭐하다 안 어떤 거야디 조정 거야라도 뭐야디 탈바다 탐제기 몇 공부를 뭐야다 아니 면함디 딘데 탈바다 탐제기 몇 공부직 다 수수연 가서르다 개와네 새로 탐제도 간다 딘데 공부 좀 하도 봐도 아니 디기다 귤을 좋아 쇼와 섬들 해야디 다 뭐하다 면함게 뭐하디 그 누버튼 셔시도.
And what does it mean by in terms of the dedication prayer? And dedication prayer is mainly focuses on the benefiting sentient beings and then make a relationship with the sentient beings. So then in terms of your virtuous, any kind of activities that you involve yourself and you make a dedication prayer. And that this dedication prayer is you want to dedicate for the sentient beings that may I take them to liberation and Buddhahood. So that's the ultimate state you want to do it. You want to dedicate. So then whatever you have dedicated, it's life after life until you reach to the Buddhahood level, that the prayer sustains it. In order to benefit all sentient beings, for yourself to reach to the Buddhahood level. So that kind of prayer falls under the dedication prayer.
다 군은 기단데 남기다 군은 기다르지래. 단데 심 기단 나로래 인연을 라니 상게 아니 시행 탐제 상게 공부고 고섬네. 상게단 개보다도 상게단 직단 직디 지부다도 수도 인연라 심제 탐제리야 가서래. 대화당 대화를 꼽아다 동해세나 아니 랑이상 랑식 더 슈리아 개용도 스제 간다르 꾸노 기단 드스레도 간다르 초니기다네
기부터 위심 기부터
지부다부터 인연이야 심제 탐지 지우기
지우라나
그 지우스나 디가서 라단 루촌이
알레시
라루촌이 어디지 인연이야 라루디게 드릴이야데 안수수 디젤이야 두고와
라수
아래 듬바니 드레다 랑데 드니 드니다 신데 드니 듬바
No. So then, in terms of intention setting, how you do the intention setting of this aspiration is that it depends. In one way, you want to reach to the highest state of Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. And this kind of application that you want to reach fast so that you can benefit sentient beings is much more like how the king king represents. And then the other one is a shepherd representation, and the shepherd will herd all the animals up first, and then the shepherd will go after that. So is that they will the shepherd way is you want to bring all sentient beings to the enlightenment state, and then you will be enlightened next. So these are different kinds of ways, but it comes down to the true aspiration. The aspiration is that you want to you want to become Buddhahood to the aspiration level in order to benefit all sentient beings. So that's the intention setting. After Jonathan, Digila, Venerable.
Thank you, Geshe, for these precious teachings. A very quick clarification. In the three aspirations to achieve a precious human life or to be born in a pure realm, you mentioned the first one is ethics, morality, and then the 6 perfections, and then the dedication, the stainless aspiration prayer. Is there a difference between the first ethics, morality, and then the 6 perfections, ethics, morality? Because it seems redundant to me.
Surim number tabi shisung bra ani jisu pari tro jimanam tibam be samsha dan dita ani yang pajin chugi ani thambo ngazo di jimba surim jira pari chimba pari chimba le de di surim sungye jida ani surim number tagi shisung le di tenda chikba kona digiyore yang loga res.
퍼진 두기
수준이다. 아니 수준 넘버 답이 시수.
어디더래 매주 그 퍼진 두기 나온세기 수준되라양 단다디 샤서 니저든 배 수준수도가네 수수기 농아 이승거다 간다 수준 송해야 되러와 간다 수준 송해야 조지베 온더체네 레레디 다라레 디미피 다보 중스나 단다면은 가서 수준 넘버 답이 시수야 수준디 다가나 차도라.
Yes, or the 6 perfection, this perfection of morality, that has a combination inside that as the 3 types of morality, morality of restraining from the virtuous, accumulating virtue, and then benefiting sentient beings are subsumed within that perfection of morality. And if that is pure, then definitely the ethical morality as a base, and then with combined by 6 perfection, and then with stainless prayers, it means the same. But the 6 perfection, first that has to be perfected, and the other one will automatically come.
냠네 지단 데리데 이네 개발 도스타 세가 또 베나 도스 개발잖아 숙춘부여다 퍼진 두기 낭수기 수dim지여와 수dim디기 다 수수라니 탐제 캠버토베 귤이야 두고요래서 지도가는 수dim 넘버 답에 시송세기 수dim디 상계기 수라니 상계기 공바토적이 귤은 로다마로 태숨제 강다르 강디 수dim디 개와치마 수수 된르기야라 어느 거기 규칙으로 거기 규칙도 어디 개발 조사다.
No, sir. Again, there is a difference in terms of if you do the 6 perfection and the perfection of morality, that perfection of morality is that you do that perfection in order to reach to the Buddhahood level. Now, when we do that, the prayer one, which is the based on ethical morality and others, and with the stainless prayer, that morality is about the rebirth, your next rebirth about. So whether that goes to the Buddhahood or not, that's questionable, but this is much more focused on the rebirth process. Then Venerable Tigila.
It seems like it's so much easier to create negative karma and due to our ignorance. So how is it even possible that we have this precious human life and are able to be here? Is it due to, being in the lower realms and creating so much negative karma? Yeah.
It's easier to do negative action, and then could you say it again?
Due to our ignorance, not
Due to
even
ignorance,
not even
the-
knowing about karma and many other forms of ignorance. So how is it possible that we're have a precious human life?
Are you talking about yourself, just in general, or the others?
In general, all of us, have precious human lives.
nganzu sangmala the teju miluribuchi tobiyor was ne tobine nganzu migewe lela the juge di the easily jugudu sikala lela ngon jugudu sti the maripe wangiro was maripa giwangi ina nganzu teju khandis tobiyoris
알레 대주 간데 스톱이어서
no nganzu teju khachilana nganzu maripala nganzu le migewa lamsa ju jugudu was the maripe wangi 아니 ngada nganzu sangma doshila sura 아니 이내 nganzu teju miluje khandis tobiyorele
아노 나 대주 밀루 단다 토베디 단다 라바나 시제 고기와 디소야디 개원님에게 몰람기 참자요레스 간저다 슝근나를 세가 돼야 딕세가 되고
no
그래서 머리바디 창말에 선사 창말에 된주고 밀루디 레기 코라메도 와서 그래서 디거는 개원님아 개와지 다 개와데 밀루토 저변나시데 개와디다 유효같이 이내 개와디 개와신다 만라와 간다 추짐기 개와지 정서나 아니 추짐기 개와 직당 디 간데 수수그 면함 단단한 라바나시 면함데 면함 timame 봤어야 되기 아니 신의 디세가 시던 것도 된조 간래야죠 어디 세부 차서 다 timame 봤 잘 거야 돼요
no
면함 쌈기 조금은 왔어
no having this attainment of precious human life that we have right now, it is because of the previous life we make a stainless aspiration period, and that's need to be understood. And because of that, we have the precious human life, and not only that, in the previous life we have done some positive virtuous action. Of course, any positive virtuous action can be born as a human, but having precious human life, then there are two components. One, we have done pure ethical morality, whatever virtue we were doing at that time in the previous life. Not only that, we made a stainless aspiration prayer. And because of that, in this life, we have this precious human life. But not everybody has this precious human life, And of course, ignorance is prevalent to all. That's the answer from Geshe.
자산 뒤치기래 아니 단다 먼저 가서 개와 참자다 그들이 대간주 베베 넘기 연락 계시지요 디레스 가인스나 기랑기 개와 응아마디 간데 이메 디 가서래 응아마 가인 기랑 개와 응아마디다 줄르다 기랑 개와 응아마디 장로 간데 이메디 단데 기랑 그 루브들 뜻 단데 개와들 뜻 와라 단데 응아마 가인 다들 루르 뜻 다 치마 기랑 개와 야가질을 두기 두거질을 두기 디키랑 다데키랑 셈디 돈의 트리치스 시게제 디 식디 빼 네버치무여서
There's a wonderful saying and a quote in Tibetan that what you have now, this physical body, is because in your previous life you have utilized some kind of intelligence and some kind of efficiency that you are born in this precious human body. And that's because from the previous life karma. Now, what you are going to be reborn and be prepared yourself for the future really truly depends on your own mind right now. So this is a very powerful quote.
저단디 그는 다 개왕님에게 갑들어야 다 심지 컨디션에 수수 삼로당다들 시간을 모델이야 실렌시브 숨디 다 간들이 계획 로직이야 원도 교토바 지사서나 한 개와치마데 된루토바 녀바 단도 슝네 디송요 왔어.
And in your previous life, when you were at the time of the death, on the basis of the craving, grasping, and becoming, you're able to generate a virtuous state of mindset, and that propelled you to a positive rebirth process. And that's really clearly stated in the authentic scripture.
지금에 겨와 가마디 시간라모데다 단내시레 콘도 사발로 소바다 되자슈 춤부 영화로 소바다 딘데기 미게베 셈기 군nel라는 실렌스도 숨도 쓰였다베이나 아겨와치마데 년르기게 바타슈도 왔어.
And in the previous life, if there was a strong anger and strong attachment at the moment of the death, and that's going to propel you to the unfortunate rebirth, unfavorable state. At the back.
Thank you, Geshe, and especially for this opportunity to ask all our questions. I have one more about karma, and I'm wondering if all the actions that we do with all 4 branches complete throw us in next or propel us in a future rebirth, and if so, what kind of rebirth would it be if we do a complete neutral action?
Wanzuki kiwachima drejera sangbu le da nyembe le da dendi ki thone ni ta kiwachima duguna ani miyuwe ki le. Are you saying neutral karma?
Yes.
Ani lungma tengi le chi diguna kewa khwa lingres. Kewa da migewa nige memba lungma tengi tichina kewa chima khwa lingres.
롱마땡기 레치고 제제 대비나 개와치마디 표정 거기 가서래 레 다가랑기 개와치매기 개와치 표정 펜토가 연하면은 디 펜토 핑교를 삼서 챙기면도
If a person engage only in neutral karma, is it able to propel to the rebirth? I don't think so. Geshe is saying like that.
가이스는 디나 요 말이야. 가이스는 가서래 단다. 개회래 미개회 롱마데 레기 남이 징메스 버다든가 세부 징면도 있다. 다이네 단데데 가서래 개물 나와다 타는 셰비나 개회 레기 된주기 위해서 오라. 된주. 미개회 레기 년주기 위해서 오라. 다 된주당 년주기가 마인베기 좋아질 기기를 슬랍샤시다.
No. So no. So Geshe says that for the neutral karma to propel to the next rebirth, in terms of that, I'm not sure in terms of clarity, but just as a joke, the virtuous karma is determining for the favorable rebirth, right? And the non-virtuous karma determines for the unfavorable rebirth, So which is not favorable and unfavorable rebirth, that's where the neutral karma. Last one question. I think it's 11, so that'll be the last question.
Thank you, Geshe. In the Brahmaviharas, we have love as one of the first practices to do. And because the path looks like very hard and a lot of purification and a lot of practices that we need to do to tame our mind, and also in the 7 points of bodhicitta, to develop bodhicitta, we also have love. But sometimes I can see that maybe the practices that I am doing like take aside love. So I don't know if Geshe can share some practices that we can embrace for ourselves, like self-love, but also with this idea that being able to liberate all beings, we really need to have a huge love for all sentient beings. So how we can develop that kind of huge love.
Okay. I think you have one question, right? We will take... Yes, please. Ask that question because it's 11. I'll write it down. Yeah, yeah.
어리 딱다시.
Because I don't want to miss. This is the last opportunity.
Thank you. So, after Venerable No Wong's question, with the analogy of the hot day and the summer breeze being caused by the Buddhas in some way, or the relief, the feeling, the sensation, and then your response to Venerable Lamsel's question, where she asked about the pleasant feelings of meditation when she was meditating on bodhicitta, and you talked about previous causes of previous lives. And then Venerable Kadro's question, this is the last, about love and compassion being innate to us as well. I guess what I'm trying to understand is where do all pleasant feelings, or does all goodness, or is it the inner Buddha or the outer Buddha that these karmas are ripened from? Or I'm going in big circles when I ask the question myself too. I guess from a theistic culture, what comes from the Buddhas? And is it the inner Buddha, the outer Buddha, when we experience this?
Experience the love and the feeling and all those.
Beauty, happiness,
Oh, okay.
or any, it could be also negative though, but, well, no, just love, beauty, and happiness.
The Tiwa Tangbu Shiran, like, the Risha Susu Sewa Tia Shiraya. Then the Gelaki Sewa Tetan, the Champakum Danda, and so good day menga doing that, and data, Mabu Chik Tan Yamne, Mabu Chik Sunsus, Chanju Sim Cometa. And that Sewa lady, Gela Rangi, and Champa Lechik, Yamne Chitu, any Dendijik, Kandijik, Tablamjik. Consular Tero Nas that Chambachimbuki, the Gelagi Mixijik, Dendijik Lamdu Naro Nas, she know the Tiwatirisha. And the more to the Petukora Loga and the Shulaki
랍시.
on the Indirish. Cosima Gelagi, Nawangi, Handa Soa Ledger, I think the Yanachungi Soa de la Lenchik Tesos, and you were the Lamsi, any Soa de Wachungu to Tachanju Simda, Ninjishimbo to any. Giwangoma that they were you at the Sunsus, Nilingi you, and Tanda the young Anisanki kind of like Champa the Ninji that the Ranchi Su Yore Sunsus, the kind that the Mampuchi soon do any more this chick that in Susama you do milk more get you at the direction. That is so much chilab jué di sangi le di chulo la sangi di susugi na lo la ina Buddha le jura chulo ya wondi gi chilab do china ni ani samno da mendo khorgu yore samno ya oda duja le de indi chini khorgu yore chi ta di chiwa sama kora ge gyo do chegu do in dagara indi chini chiwa dinde mish chiwa dinde do shkor ki dos re right wondi sus
단다 프랑스에 대다 수수수기 제와 간데 제고를 시행을 제와 간데 제고를 스케지 되죠.
no
뒤간에다 수수 제와 지당기 탐란다 남이 약슈디 단다 예중 삼바세 딜레인 것도 하나.
No. The best way for your question for self-love is to really to generate this renunciation.
가서 어디래? 다 예중 삼바디 아니 수수기 갈수 그래다. 제와 때 수술이야 된데 제와 비다고 여버디 아니 수수지고 핑계면도 시행당 념도 안 딜리게 시행을다 녀버도 디 구구도 시제 미과 시행을 때는 바뼈인데 그는 군인지 차도 왔어.
And this self-love that you have for yourself, and you want to focus on others' in order to spread that, you focus on others' well-being, and then it becomes a compassion.
다 된대기 닝지디 또 chanju semke기 규리야 조언조토야다 조 디치도 곰 디치도 간에 아니 잡아 첨부서야디 차로 왔어.
Lawson.
다대요.
Law.
제제 디션트.
Lawson. And then on that basis of the compassion, then you generate this awakening mind of bodhicitta, and then it expands. Then it becomes under the big love.
다고 잠바던 니지스 고 카보다는 싫어. 지구되게 담제다 대화 털도 템퍼치긴 세레 지기는 수종어데 동해 자원의 진 맵 쓰고 인세야들에 근데 동해 자원의 맵 쓰나니 대화 양답을 톱두래 대화 털도 톱에 이나니 동해 자원의 맵 차사를 제산다 디고 딘다지레 코 카파 팔로술로를 지레 지금
So this great love and the great compassion they align together, because if you are focusing on this great love of having happiness for all sentient beings, and if it comes to the ultimate, then there is an ultimate removing of suffering, and if there's an ultimate happiness, and if there's ultimate happiness, there's no suffering, right? So on the other way of this great compassion, if you focus on removing the suffering of sentient beings, and if you completely remove the sentient beings of the suffering, then there is happiness. So you see, it's sort of aligned with each other. So that's the answer.
다 뭐랑 그 초화 거리게 주셔야 돼. 초화라네. 저 유당 유왕 남시 숨 좀말을 때는 초화 용사도 이게 세가 되나 어디르다. right.
To your question, sensation and the feeling that you are talking about, this feeling in this context, the feeling comes into contact in relation to an external object, meeting with your sensory organ, and meeting with your consciousness. So these three has to be there.
다 렉바스도 간에 조행이를 렉고 거기에 있어서 근데 유당 공부다 남시 숨 렉바스도 간에 콘수 숨 채스나 아니 신의 소화 연구를 왔어.
The feeling comes with the object, and there your sensory organs, and then your consciousness. And if these three meet together, they contact together, then a feeling arises.
제산다 디숨숨 좀네 수수로기 가와지다 수수로다 툼버직 유지체인데가네 아니 소화 대화제 다 수수 마가와지다 수수로다 민두베기 파주 유지체서나 아니 소화 동에서 미대와서 두수 용되게 왔어.
Feeling arises that if you like object, then when you like that object, when you meet, you connect, then a positive, pleasurable experience happen, a feeling. And if you dislike somebody, and if you come into contact with that, then you arise with the unpleasant sensation of feeling.
제가 디인디가네다 소화 용마요세디 그 응어기 그 렉발라리 도왔어. 렉바세 들어와. 다 렉바 간데 용마요세디 유당 옹보다 남시 숨 체마들라리 도왔어. 제가 디인디가네다 딘데기 유당 옹보당 남시 숨디 안다기 맞을 텐데 하나 중에 나 줘봐나 시제 그 규디 개왕함을 두 먼저 두 세지 지디가네 아니 그 자위 규디 개왕함을 두 레그나밀 두 단대 컵스 고베위 겐디 아니 수수기다 간다를 파마니 레야 투 대바다 두스제제 지도가는 그 개왕에만 저와 참아자데 두스로 왔어.
This feeling comes from contact, and this contact comes by having this the object meeting your sensory organ, and then your consciousness. So that's how it operates. And then if you go back to the 12 links of dependent origination, that's how you link that to the previous life. So whatever you are experiencing relates to your previous rebirth of the whatever karma that has been accumulated. So the feeling is related to the previous life karma, which is a substantial cause. And what currently the condition is very much about the concomitant conditions that is arising. So that's how the feeling and the sensation arises. We can look in this kind of dynamism.
다 근데 렉버스야 돼. 수수기 렉버데다 직 아니 유한남슈 숨 태베기 수수기 셰버시도와 셰버디다 상계기 진길람네 수소리야 연구도 봐. 아니 조조 개영임에 레사보다 주로 개랑 되는 연구도 다 디스즈 상당 그랬어.
Now, with this contact and in relation to your own consciousness experiencing these feelings, now these experiences, whether these experiences are being blessed by external Buddha, or is it blessed by your previous life karma, or is it dependent on the external circumstances and the condition, that you should reflect. 11, 12.
May the spiritual teachers who lead me on the sacred path and all spiritual friends who practice it have long life. May I pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. Grant such inspiration, I pray. May the lives of the venerable spiritual mentors be stable, and their virtuous actions spread in the 10 directions. May the light of Lobsang's teachings dispelling the darkness of the beings and the three worlds always increase. Idam Guru Rana Mandalakam Niryatayami. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha, that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May the born have no decline, but increase forevermore. In the snowy mountain pure land, you're the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezi, may you stay until samsara ends. May the deeds of explaining and practicing the Dharma, done by groups supporting the teachings and their upholders, who spread the view of dependent arising and non-violent actions in the 10 directions, and especially at Sravasti Abbey in the West Forest. Are you wanting Star Spangled? We have this. All right.
So you'll know the melody to this next prayer with Shantideva's words.
Geshe would like to say a few words, and so can we do that now?
Save this last.
Yes. Yes. No.
또 다다님의 예비 종고 계모 안에 되게 주전하고 수업에다 견신 창마 들인데 구유된 좀 받을래야 계란수에다매 중을 주숨게 대도리 계란수 중을 주숨게매다 배신 시우셰여스 들리냐 타반에 도시셰슈에스
Geshe, I want to say these few thank you words to this Sravasti Abbey, the founder, Venerable Thupten Shirula, and all the elders and everyone here gathered today. You all have worked so hard in making this a conducive environment and making sure Geshe would like to extend his gratitude to Sravasti Abbey, the founder of Venerable Thupten Shirula, and all the elders and all the sanghas and people here who have gathered. You have worked so hard in preparing and then making sure the actual teaching happens. I really extend my gratitude.
용화 예수님께 교화 강사와 대참 담제다매 그나서 수수기 체증보다 내매바당 아니 미세된데 때문에 용해야 도스시시 지수이라 쉬어있어.
We have gathered virtuous activities for several number of days where we have accumulated body, speech, and mind dedicated in virtuous actions. Let us dedicate for the long life of everyone and to have no sicknesses and then have very meaningful purpose, and Geshe deeply rejoice with all these activities.
안저 땡주스 시제 망부실 때니 드리디 지 가서제 다치 파주 년시지에 연구에 있어서 아니 미세 경험이 다른 분에 대한지 년가 용이든지 수수 두수르당 조선르당 아니 다가나 신기다 간다라 수수기 르다 망부시지에 깔래 겹지 대패버를 재산 대표디사님의 딜레니 개와사바 딜레 때는 예 도시sen다
Everything is dependent arising, and especially people who have come from far distance and who have come to attend the teachings for these number of days from far. You have spend time, your precious time here, and also you have financed yourself to come to the teaching, and that shows the perseverance and working hard towards it. I really rejoice, and the merit accumulated here, Geshe truly rejoice.
등기 공동하는 새끼 시험은 시제 말하기 군우 다 강투도 기직 주제 간다르 다 간다르 군우 주에서도 간에 조다지 셴리아 펜바당 아니 풀 펜바당 아니 가서 투도기 미시 된다 템버지 기체도 펜나섬의 군우 디키네 다 간다르 개와 팀뷰지서 유중하대 견한설 때는 중요한데 간에 말하기 될다 지수yana 지유스
I have received this precious opportunity, and I have also set my intention. Setting intention here, the transformation of the intention is mainly I want to bring benefit to others, and that benefit to have a lasting impact. and then to have a meaningful purpose of benefiting others. So with these kind of intention, and everything is dependent arising, and with these virtuous deeds we have gathered together, I deeply rejoice.
에비기 친다 소리 인디가네 딘데 땅 안서 카시게기 투모도 사셰베기 개와디 다 지기 질 상계기 템바다 양고 템바 디진이기 다 간들 기진 시디기 우지치 둥이 되게 들려다 그 템바 유름도 내야다 딘데기 다 시디기 우지 남바서다 구지 유름도 내야다 코란스의 삼대 취신도 주야다 그봐 아니 마음발이 내양아란서다 지기야 당연 시간의 시제 denjo milu gyune ani yang chi nyejong changsem yang de betawale ya tusam chi tuya ge gogop chi gyuna ge an tos shejang wa manam shwe is.
And then for the Sravasti Abbey, who are sponsoring here, and with all these collective forces together, with the Buddha Dharma, and most importantly, there are so many now world leaders who bring peace to the world, and these leaders to sustain and live long. It's so important. So for their long life and for a lasting peace, I make a strong dedication prayer for the benefit of all. Alone, and then to have precious human birth for the next life, and for the next life also to generate the three principal aspects within our mind stream: renunciation, bodhicitta, and the awakening mind of awakening mind. And then I'm requesting here that seek for happiness and meaningful purpose both. It is very important that you engage in Dharma practices joyfully. Yes, thank you. One thing Geshe need to say. So Geshe is thanking the translator. I feel hesitant to say these words, but Nima has taken her time, took off from her work, and come here to do the translation. So he deeply thank. Special thanks to Nima.
This is your next student.
Shall we do this dedication prayer or? I don't know. Okay, we will go ahead and do the dedication. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water, and other delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May all who are ill or injured quickly be free from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may these never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other for as long as space endures and as long as living beings remain. Until then, may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world.
Are you ready for more? Yes? Okay.